He's been selling devices he built that can turn a charged car into a power source.
This particular car has 60 kilowatts battery. So more or less house consume something about 4 kilowatts in average. And we can use this car as an uninterrupted power supply.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Now, the war in Ukraine has had a profound ripple effect on various sectors, and the automotive industry is no exception. In this feature video from CGTN Europe, we've been featuring them quite a lot since recently. We see a report on Ukraine, and this was surprising, and Ukraine is embracing EVs amid the ongoing conflict, energy grid issues and fuel shortages facing the country. But this is both surprising and rather an eye-opening experience seeing what is going on over there. So please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you have to go before the end of this particular video, please with all means hit that thumbs up button. The algorithm will really appreciate it. So let's get straight into our feature video.
Driving an electric car in a country with a crippled energy system may not seem like a wise choice, but people here are not shying away.
Electric vehicle sales in Ukraine have gone up from 15,900 in 2021 to over 54,000 in the first 8 months of this year.
Andriy bought his first EV in 2022 when the conflict with Russia began.
2.5 years ago, when Russia attacks the Ukraine with the missiles, we've started experiencing issues with the fuel.
Long lines formed outside gas stations. Now, after Russian attacks on the energy grid, electricity and a stable power supply have become an issue. As the cold winter months approach, scheduled power cuts are set to begin again. But EV sales have yet to drop.
August saw the highest number of electric car sales ever in Ukraine, 9,400 compared to the 5,600 in August of last year.
Andriy says he'll plan ahead and charge his car according to the blackout schedule. And he says owning an EV is still a cheaper alternative.
To top up my fuel tank in my truck cost me about 5,000 hryvnias per tank. And to charge this car is like 150.
Analysts say another reason driving up sales are cheap import taxes.
We understand that the import of an ordinary car will cost about 30 to 40% more compared to the cost of importing EVs into Ukraine. You only need to pay a few €100 for an electric car.
EV seller.
Okay, let me announce fair use. I had to pause it there because it's rather short, so I had to let it run for a while. So first off, the massive spike in EV sales from 15,900 in 2021 to over 54,000 in just the first 8 months of 2023 is a trend that raises eyebrows, and you're going to see that later on. But why are people turning to EVs in a country with a bombarded energy grid? Where is all this money coming from in the middle of an ongoing war? I mean, people are working, but I think they will actually try to divert those resources elsewhere more than just focusing on buying an electric car. But amid Russia's attacks, gas stations saw long lines, fuel supply shortages, and skyrocketing prices. People are spending around $135 average, he just mentioned there, just to fill up a tank of gas. And despite the power outages and grid instability, owning an EV, you have to plan around scheduled blackouts. As humans, you know we have to adapt to every situation. You can either store fuel or learn to store electricity to charge your electric vehicle. Let's continue.
Alexei argues that electric cars can actually be useful during power cuts. They can serve as a giant power bank, supplying electricity to your home. He's been selling devices he built that can turn a charged car into a power source.
This particular car has 60 kilowatts battery. So more or less house consume something about 4 kilowatts in average. And we can use this car as an uninterrupted power supply.
This is a solution many European countries are also looking at to better manage energy supplies in the future, to use EVs not only as an energy source for households, but for repowering the grid. With electricity in short supply in Ukraine, perhaps a power bank on 4 wheels is exactly what people need. Megumi Lim, CGTN, Kyiv.
But let me go back to the part where they're talking about the taxes. It's really interesting. Take a listen again to this particular section.
Analysts say another reason driving up sales are cheap import taxes.
We understand that the import of an ordinary car will cost about 30 to 40% more compared to the cost of importing EVs into Ukraine. You only need to pay a few €100 for an electric car.
Yeah, but like I said, it's quite short, so we have to go back to try to reiterate what they're saying. So just to understand this, Ukraine has an EV mandate that also includes lower import taxes on electric vehicles. So in a war-torn economy, making EV more affordable spur EV adoption, and that's rather interesting. And this tax policy means people pay 30 to 40% less for electric vehicles than for traditional internal combustion vehicles. Now, the idea of EVs doubling as household power sources is gaining traction, as you're seeing in the still video right here. And when the juice runs out, then you'll need a diesel generator to power up the car, then run the electricity back into the homes, and the cycle will continue. We still can't do without diesel. But hear me out on this. We have to always look at the broader scope and the current global trends as well. And with rising energy prices and environmental concern, so they say, we have men and younger generations increasingly looking to trade jobs like electricians, solar technicians, and yes, even EV mechanics will be in high demand in the very short future. The thing is, electric vehicle technology is going to require a new set of skills: diagnostics, software expertise, and electrical work, which has led to a shortage of skilled workers in the automotive industry currently. Fewer mechanics are entering the workforce, especially in traditional repair jobs, as the push towards electrification creates more demand for EV specific knowledge. Then at the same time, you now have fresh reports coming in that men are stepping away from traditional college paths and leaning more towards skilled trades. Jobs in EV production, installation of solar power systems, and the energy management are attracting workers who see the long-term potential of these sectors. However, the automotive industry has a major labor problem on its hands, and the transition to electric vehicles is both amplifying the issue and is also opening new doors. All I'm saying, there will be new opportunities in Ukraine and the wider Europe when this war is over, if they want it to be over, as a matter of fact, especially with a declining birth rate in the West. Who is going to maintain our infrastructures? Now, what does this mean for the future of the automotive industry, especially in war-affected regions like Ukraine? This war has exposed both vulnerabilities and new opportunities in the automotive sector, but the real question is, can the industry keep pace with the changing times? As usual, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.